special good night to all our friends and well wishers. You're on to Caribbean American News Network. We are live on the air via Facebook and via YouTube. It is 8:05 p.m. in my side of the world, that is in the United States. And I am sure it is another time and another place where you are, but we want to welcome you here to Caribbean American News Network. And remember, you report. Our lines are always open at 929 586 1821. And we do miss all of you. And we're happy to be back live on the set where we discuss current events, issues that affecting you and your family. And as I always say, that governments will be casualty of our discussion, both opposition and both the ruling party. And so we ask you to brace yourself. We're here for the truth. And remember, the truth will set you free. So again, welcome to this another platform. I am so excited to be here with you, my friends. You're like family now. And when I do not come on, I feel very much missing out. And so I greet you all. We plan to have a beautiful time tonight as we interact, as we discuss. And tonight I would like you to call as much as you can and let us discuss the issues. Maybe there is something happening in your neighborhood. There is something going on out there you would want to share with us. Maybe you're being harassed, you're being bullied. Please let us know. Let us know what is happening in your area. Let's discuss the matters that are affecting you. Do not be afraid. Do not be silent. Do not allow anyone to get you afraid of speaking. Speak up. Let your voice be heard. Let your voice be heard. And I want to tell you one thing is that, like I said last night, there are a number of persons who condemn me for being outspoken on social issues, current events. And so they say, well, you're a Christian and therefore you need to not talk about these matters. And you're only a Christian when you speak about these topics that affect you and your family's pocket and the future of your children and grandchildren. Everything else is okay, you know. They don't want you to preach the gospel. They consider you a hypocrite when you preach the gospel. And when you get into current events, they say to you, don't talk. And so it is a confused generation. And I understand the confusion, and I'm here for the long haul. And I just want to thank you again, all the kind words of support. Today, I got so many calls, folks, you would not believe it. And all of them were positive communication. And I want to thank the person who, there are two persons in particular there's a female and there is a gentleman, a very permanent person in the society. And I want to thank him for what he did. I want to thank him for his prayer, his support, his words of encouragement. After listening to you, my friend, I felt so uplifted. I felt energized and just empowered to continue on this journey that we are on. I just want to let you know that I will not be silent. Folks will not bully me and get me so afraid that I would not be able to come on to present to you the news, social and current events. I would not be stopped. Only the God of heaven can do that, all right? And so we are not going to be distracted. We are not going to allow ourselves to be derailed by character assassination and all that you're hearing out there. Instead, this platform, we will clarify. We will make plain. We'll make plain what we are about, where we are going. And I don't think anyone should be confused at the end of our program as to what we are doing here. Yes, I must admit that I have biases. All of us do. And it is quite clear to you where I am leaning, and I am not going to make any statement on that anymore. We will continue with what is affecting the society, what is affecting the people of St. Lucia, the people of the Caribbean, the people of Dominica, Grenada, Barbados, the people. Yes, politicians are people also, but most of them are not being affected by half of the laws that are being implemented. It affects the little man, not the rich man, but the little man. And therefore, we are speaking up for the little man, what they call the little man, but yet that little man is so powerful that they beg on their knees for your vote. They beg on their knees for your vote. That's how powerful you are. All right? So the little man become the big man when we get close to elections. So brace yourself. You're in for the ride. It's going to be a beautiful night. I'm looking forward to hearing many of you. All right? Many of you. I'm going to spend some time looking at the site, looking at some of the messages, and I will try to highlight some of them and greet some of you. Listen to me, I met so many beautiful people, friends that I never knew, and these people embrace me with a love that, you know, sometimes I question even those who are my Christian buddies. You know, the embrace and the love and the words of encouragement that I get from you, the people. I say to you that you're a loving people. You're not animals, you're not ignorant, you're a loving people. And my encouragement to you is to continue to aim for the best. Continue to aim for the skies. Continue to be your best. Continue to serve your country. Continue to have the desire for a better St. Lucia. Continue, my friends, to forge unity, respect for each other. Continue to love your neighbor as yourself. Remember that. And that's the golden rules, all right? Amen. So again, I thank you very much. And to those that I cannot see, there are those who blocked me, and I can't see their comments, but sometimes they show up with insults and disagreements. I can understand disagreements, but insult I will not accept, and I will not accept it as normal. You know, the insults and the disrespect, that should not be encouraged. It should not be supported. It should not be treated as something normal. I don't care what side it is. We got to learn to respect each other's opinion. And tonight, this program, it is for you, my friends. Those of you who are under the live, you know who I'm talking about. It is for you. So anyone who comes with their bullying tactics, you know, we're going to interrupt it. All right? And we will expose it. Okay, so let's have, before we go into our calls, I have some things that I want to clarify, but there is some breaking news out of St. Vincent that we will want to go over to, and I have a reporter over there in St. Vincent who is Mr. Cleophas Glenn. He's over in St. Vincent at Sandy Bay right now. There has been a major accident with a minibus. 9 persons were transported to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in Kingstown. The sad news is there are 5 persons who are dead. These persons died on the spot. The driver was transporting persons to a funeral service. They never made it to the service. The bus flipped over and 5 souls were lost. 9 persons are in the care of physician at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in Kingstown. Let's go over to Mr. Glenn there in St. Vincent as we get more from him. Please bear with me as I get the sound up for you. Thank you.
Site of the vehicle accident where persons lost their lives from cleverly en route to a funeral as they tried to move the vehicle from site.
that is major breaking news out of St. Vincent. I will take you back to the scene there in St. Vincent. 9 persons is said to have been injured in a motor vehicle accident, and 5 dead. 5 persons died on the scene. They were on their way to a funeral service. And
that's how it is. We do extend condolences to the families who have lost loved ones. It's a hard and a sad day in Clare Valley, but at least still we are thankful to God that at least some persons seeing this wreckage. We are thankful to God that at least some persons are still alive. That can tie up. That can tie up.
All right, and that is over in St. Vincent. And the Grenadines, again, major breaking news. 9 persons injured. Those 9 persons were transported to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital over in Kingstown, and 5 persons died on the scene of this vehicle. They were on their way to a funeral service and never made it. And so our condolences to the family of the condolences to the bereaved family, and to those who sustain injury. We continue to pray for their recovery and their survival. So there we see it, and it is a very sad day there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the loss of 5 souls. And we hope that the numbers remain 5 and the 9 persons recover quickly. All right, so let's move on to, I know that's depressing news, but let's just continue to pray. And I want you folks to be careful, be safe out there when you are traveling. Remember, before you leave your home, pray before your children go to school. I am telling you, we are living in serious times, all right? All right, so let's go over to some developments here. Many of you would remember last night I said to you that we are in the process of putting together a kitchen, a community kitchen there in St. Lucia. We have not identified anywhere. We do not know the village. Anywhere we get the land, we will build. Anywhere we can get the land, we're going to build that kitchen. I'm very serious about it. I also spoke to you about increasing the numbers on both of our platforms, both the Facebook and the YouTube. And I just want to make it abundantly clear. And I know that the devils out there are spinning like a top in the mud. And what we are doing here is that we are exposing not only bad behavior, but we are exposing persons who are selfish, self-centered, and narcissists. That's what we're doing. And therefore, remain calm and watch this space. I say to you, be very careful when you are attacking men of God. They are ordained by God for service, and we should be very, very cautious. Very cautious, especially those of you with children, young children. Those of you who, you got to be very cautious. You might take this for the joke, what I'm saying to you, but I say to you, be very, very careful. Very careful, very careful. That's all I can say. All right, but let's move on to what we discussed last night. I said we're going to build that place, and we're not going to ask anyone, by the grace of God, for monies. We're not going to ask anyone to buy anything or to subscribe financially. What we're asking you to do is to follow our Facebook page and to subscribe to the YouTube page, because we're going to use revenues from those flow as it develops. Not yet. We're not touching any money as yet. As we develop here on this program, all the procedures will go towards the construction and maintenance of the community kitchen there in St. Lucia. I want to make it abundantly clear that a false witness is abomination, and a lying tongue is a very serious thing. And if you can lie, you can steal. And if you can steal, you can murder. A liar is a murderer. And to be spreading lies concerning our post last night, it is not a good thing. It don't bother me. But misinformation, especially towards a project that can help the people of St. Lucia. Someone said, oh, we don't need anything. The people are good in St. Lucia. Now, here again, and we got to call out these ignorance. There are persons in the society whose thinking is still in the gutters. And we got to help them to elevate themselves out of this level of ignorance. We got to call out the ignorance. We got to expose the ignorance. And we got to share light and information to them. But the sad thing is that there are some who are so stubbornly ignorant that while there's information before them, they are not willing to accept the information. They prefer to continue with Alan Shastney is a thief, Guy Joseph is a thief, this, and Alan Shastney's father is not sick, he don't have cancer, and that's the level that I'm speaking to you about. You must, and that's why the Bible itself says that your mind must be transformed. For you to see progress in your family, you must have your mind transformed. As information comes, you adjust. As truth comes, you accept. But people love lies and they love juicy stories. Oh, tell me about it. And so I want us to stay clear of liars. They are murderers. They can do anything. They're deceivers, and we have seen it in times of old, the destruction of those individuals. Majority of them, they lose their minds. Many of them, they end up in a place where they should not be, in a downhill. Why? Because they are spreading lies. They are swift to spread lies. And they are swift for, they are always ready to tear down. So I want to caution my beautiful listeners tonight to stay calm. Stay calm. Don't worry about me. I'm on the side of truth. And also, I will say to you that I'm not trying to be a millionaire in anything. If I wanted to be a millionaire, I would be doing something else. If I wanted to be a millionaire, I would not be sitting here talking to you. I make that clear. All right? So the sad thing is that when decent people shows up on the scene, then because those persons are so corrupted in their minds, they understand their intention. And so they believe that everybody else wants the same thing that they want. So they label you. And anytime somebody say things about you, most of the times it's a reflection of themselves. It is a reflection of themselves. And therefore, again, I ask you to be calm. And I believe that I'll be vindicated, and many of you will be vindicated at the end of the day. So let's not lose sleep. Most of those persons might not be able to sleep, might be having sleeping issues. And so let's sleep. The Bible says that Christ gives sleep to his people. So you sleep, all right? And let God work. But let's get into the different developments. I know there was a lot of things happening around the scene. Remember, the number is our numbers online. It is open to get you on the air. It is 929 586 1821. And let us know what is happening out there. What are you hearing on the street? What is going on in your community? You can call us through the WhatsApp page, or you can call us on our regular line, 929 586 1829. 1829. I want us to look also on the, by the way, let me put the drawing that I'm looking at for this design kitchen. This is just one. I'll just show it to you. It is one that I pulled down from online, and I believe it's a good concept for a community kitchen. Please have a look at it. All right, so that is what I'm looking at, and I said to you, it's going to happen. It is going to happen. I heard someone say that I'm looking for land for myself, and I should go to St. Vincent to look for land. Oh boy, here we go again with the breakdown. Persons that you would believe, persons you would believe that have sense, and are respectful in the society. These are the things that expose the true person. It exposes the real person, the real people, who they are. The inner self is revealed in these times. And so, I can't stop encouraging folks to just pay attention, all right? And remember, not all that glitters is gold. Not all that glitters is gold. All right, so let's hope that we get you to call in, and please share the live as you join. Please share the live. Please share it. Last night I also mentioned that there was a lot of racism that was halted at Mr. Chasney, and I am not far off from that. That is the gospel truth, and if it is not, I will apologize. But it is the truth. It is the truth. The Prime Minister now, I remember hearing it clearly, that even in the House, saying that he is not one of us. He does not understand us. He is not one of us. And so if I am not hearing right, or I'm going crazy, I would love someone to call and correct me on the matter. I'm not sure if you heard the same thing, but that's what I heard. And therefore, I believe that it is wrong. It should be called out. And with all the outrage that you have out there, nobody is saying, well, man, we should not be making those statements. It is not right. The brother is a solution, and we should cease from the nonsense that we're saying. If you're talking about policies that you don't like, or leadership that you don't like, that is good. That is okay. You need that type of discourse in the society, so that you can help to bring change, and persons can make the necessary changes in leadership, in their leadership, so that they can be better. And when they are better, your country is better. All right? When they're better, your country is better. So I heard someone said, now I don't see some of the posts because I am blocked, some of the posts that are out there. But I heard that there are a lot of them. And I would counteract them with truth. All right? I will go at them with the gospel truth. And let me just clear the air on one thing is that I have always been in prayer about this program. I have not looked at anyone to say I am jealous of them and I need anything that they have. As a matter of fact, I don't even know some of these people, those individuals like that. I saw them. I love what they do. I had great admiration and respect for these individuals. I lent my little support as much as I could, and was planning to increase that support. So these type of useless talk, childish petty talk, let's not get into it. All right? Let us not get into it. It's not going to help us. And it's also not going to help us with the kitchen that we're trying to. As a matter of fact, I want to keep that thing on the screen. I want to keep it on the screen. I want to keep it there. I'm going to find a way to put it up. All right? I'm going to find a way to put it up so that I can remind you that this is what we are going to do. There it is. There it is on the screen. This is what we're going to do. And I am still asking you, for those of you who have land, and I want them to write tomorrow morning or tonight before they go to bed that I am asking for land. The answer is yes. I am asking you for land on behalf of the people. If you have cows on the land, give us the land. Get the cows off, give us the land. If you have grass on it, we will move the grass. So someone said, "Oh, he has he has an agenda." How ignorant can you be? Why would I be on the air without an agenda? Why would I be in anything without an agenda? If you were doing what you're doing without an agenda, you're crazy. Nobody needs to follow you. You need to have a plan. And that's why many are failing in the society, because there is no plan. It's either just make children or just run around with different boyfriends. No one has a plan. And I'll say this. You young ladies in the communities, in the society, don't allow men to just drag you around like you're a thing. Especially men in position. Yes, I know that you're in need, you have your children, and things are tough. Do not degrade yourself. These men will use you. They will give you disease, sickness, and children. And they will turn their backs on you at the end of the day, and they will go and marry somebody else. So it is time for you, and I'm speaking to you sisters. Don't allow yourselves to be dragged around like a thing. You're special. Some of you are beautiful. You can have, and you got to aim for a family, an organized family. Don't follow some of these people online talking about people are here with an agenda. All of us have an agenda, and you need to have an agenda for your future. Let me just switch back to me. I'm beginning to sound like my friend. Let me just talk about me a little. My agenda is clear. My agenda is to get land, increase the viewers here, and once we start earning, then we are going to use that earning to erect a community kitchen in St. Lucia, wheresoever we get the land. I don't want no land where you have to cross river with water boots. We need to get land where we can build a structure so that we can provide nutritious and healthy meal all year round. Period. That's the agenda. And I make no apologies for this agenda. No apologies for the agenda. I can apologize for the ignorance of some people. And I can say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are saying or doing. Because if they were wise people and they had really loved their country, then they would say, you know what, let me just put politics aside. This is a beautiful idea. Yes, I hate him. I don't like him because I think he's jealous of me and he wanted my numbers. Fine, you're okay to feel that way. But here is a project that you should embrace and say, yes, I need it. I heard someone said, oh, you should go to St. Vincent. They need it more. Listen, I'm talking to you, St. Lucians. When I'm ready to go to Grenada, Dominique, and St. Vincent, then I'll be right here doing the same thing. Because it is a movement that I'm starting. We need to take care of the vulnerable in our society. We can no longer depend on government to do it. Because a majority of them are in for themselves. Do you not think that the government can take, or some of these men that you have elected, they can take at least a little $2,000 and say, look, this is what I'm going to. I know there's some who are doing it. I must say that. There's some who are doing it. But even the government of the day, can you not say, look, all this monies that we're spending on consultant and I mean, every year, every election is a consultant on the same project. And the consultant is always a friend of a friend. They're always investigating Mr. Guy Joseph. They're always investigating the UWP projects. They're always investigating the blue projects. They investigate everything, and guess what? It costs you millions of dollars. That same money, you can't tell me you can't take a consultant fee and get a piece of land and build a soup kitchen, a massive soup kitchen to serve your country? With the that's to show you how some of these people think about you. St. Lucians. That's how they think about you. Don't let them henpeck you. Don't let them play with your mind, and listen to me, this is real. And I tell you, I'm a spiritual man. I'm no game. I am no game, trust me. You got to see through them. And you got to act accordingly. So let me go back now off of me to our women in the society. And I'm serious about it. And by the way, half of the investigations, the report are not made public. It sits on the government desk. Why? Because the possibility is there that one of their ministers might be indicted. Or the findings might be in the negative towards one of their people. So they hide those expensive reports. And you know what I'm asking you to do? And do it to any government. Anytime there is an investigation, ask them to put it public. It must be public. Commission of Inquiries, put it public. Let us see who are the ones questioning. Let's see who are the lawyers. Let us see who are the ones. And maybe if we do that, we will find out that many of them who are doing the investigations need to be investigated themselves. And that's the corruption within a society. Huh? And you just sit down and you're blind. You're blinded by colors and friendship. That you don't realize that you are losing your children's future. Let's go over to healthcare. Look at the games that are being played with the healthcare system. You are cursing off everybody for your government, but you do not have proper healthcare system. Let's forget about for a while, let's forget about the hospital in Vieux Fort. There was a perfect opportunity after that great fire to put up a structure in that community that would have served the country for the next couple of years. Modernize it. Take the opportunity to clean up the site and erect a proper healthcare system. It tells you where the priorities of the governments are. All these monies that were spent, all the monies that were spent, and still people are in a stadium where things are falling on them. And the people sit by. And when the people stand and rise and say, look, we need a hospital, we need a modern hospital, we don't want no joke, we need a modern hospital, then police are called to arrest the citizens for a right that they have. And you will tell me that the Christians need to shut their mouths when the rights of people are being trampled on. I can understand during COVID where you had to force people to stay in their house. Because you have a stiff-necked people who don't like laws and order. They don't like law and they don't like order. And it shows when you go to a store or a bank and the security guard says to you, wait here. You cuss him off. You tell him about his $4 salary. You tell him how his uniform is wrinkled and his pants tight, crushing his balls. Forgive my strong words. Well, I shouldn't ask for forgiveness. But some of you say worse. You don't like law and order. The police says so you don't park there. You want to spit on his face. The government says there's a crisis. Stay in your home. You go and you protest and you say, we want our freedom. You're taking away your foot. Your foot is on our necks. Get your foot off our necks. That's the society. And permanent leaders were involved. What example are you showing for the youth? Protesting during COVID when the people of St. Lucia needed all hands on deck. The people of St. Lucia needed both opposition and the government to come together to protect them. But many politicians failed the people because they were busy with their campaigns. They were busy trying to overthrow a government, and even persons in the government who are so power hungry, in the middle of COVID, they are planning for an election. In the middle of a COVID, they are leaking very important documents that should be private and protected. That's the society. People with no integrity. Leaders with no integrity. If a leader can take private documents and leak it out, that's not whistleblowing. That's not whistleblowing, because if you are in government, you too can stand. If you speak to your leaders in private and they're still not listening, you can go into the house in front of the people of St. Lucia and let them know that I do not agree with my government. That would have been okay. But you stayed in a government and you undermined the elected government of the day. And I'm saying the Labour Party government is in power, and that should not happen to them. No one should undermine them. They were elected by the people to lead. Let them lead, and the people will make a decision at the end. But all the Labour Party leaders should be honest, should stick to the order, should not leak any documents, and they should speak to the leaders when they are uncomfortable with something. But this is the society that we enjoy, and people clap on, and those who once cursed and called these same politicians all sorts of names. They are not good. They are not good representation to our children. These people should not be in position of power because they have no standard They have no integrity, but you embrace them as having all the integrity now. And I just want to call out a online preacher who came onto my live and saying to me about my presence here on this platform, you, mister, and you know yourself, don't you ever pass your place again. You never called me to say you're praying for me before. You never sent any text or scripture to me before I came online. You never showed any concern about my life, but all of a sudden you become my counselor. But you, mister, I have a picture with you and a video with you from your page, and I'm not going to play it to embarrass you. I'm going to protect you. But you were in the blue wave, jumping up every night after you finish preach online. You were jumping up with Mr. Stevenson King as a preacher. But now you want to advise me. I never got involved to advise you because I believe you have your right. You have your democratic right. You have the freedom of choice. And I respected that. But you pass your place. And I had to remind you in that text and let you know where you were. I had to let you know as a Christian that you were right on the field in Leclerc. And you were with your phone on a live, enjoying. And there are many of them who are silent, you know. There are many of those Christians, they're not saying a word to me. You know why? Because they know better. They were there, jumping up and cursing people, calling people names, calling politicians out of their names. They're very silent because I have the clips on all of them. And that's what I'm saying, the hypocrisy in the society. You choose to be holy when you want. You choose to be holy when your politician is in power. So I don't need your advice. Hold all of you advice. And don't tell me stay out of anything. I'm sure of what I'm doing here. I want to see a change of thinking. I want to see a generation, if Christ don't come as yet, I want to see a generation that is respectful, that is orderly, that love their country, that would want to serve their country, whether they're Christian or not. We need more Christians out there in the courtrooms, in the police force, in some of those passport offices and banks. We need more Christian young people there to have decency and respect when they're serving people. You go to some of these places and the tellers and some of these customer service people, they treat you like a pig, like dogs. They turn their backs on you. They shut the screen on you. They sit and pretend that they don't see you standing there in a line. So we need more Christians in these institutions. And if they see you dress a certain way and you have a hole in your slipper and a hole in your pants and a banana stain on your shirt, they treat you like you're some animal out of the bush. And that's the society that I don't want to see, because I know it. I've experienced it. And I've cried out against it. I've cried out strongly against it. You know what it is when you come to do a transaction and you have some rude, out of place person giving you all kind of backtrack, sucking the teeth at you, all kind of nonsense. Do you know what it's like? When you go to the passport office and you're treated like an animal, do you know what it's like when you go to a police station to file a report and they treat you like you're the criminal? Do you know what it's like when a man is abused and he goes to report it and they laugh at him? Do you know what it's like? We need more Christians. No, more hypocrites. We need more Christians. So don't come for me and lecture me. Know your place and keep your place. Let's talk about the issues if we have to. Let's love each other, but keep your place. Never called me, I was sick. It was on Facebook that I got corona and was very ill. Never got a call from you for prayer. Huh? You're on preaching to yourself. You don't go to church, but you stay online preaching. Go to church. Bible says don't forsake the assembling of yourselves. You're home preaching online because you don't want to go and sit under another preacher in the church. And you come in to tell me about standing up, like the Bible says that I should stand up for the oppressed, and I should visit the prisoners, and I should speak about righteousness, right doing in the society. If you want to throw me out of the church, throw me out. But it is time for more Martin Luthers and other Christians who stood up for justice and lost their lives in the process. You're so weak and feeble, and the hypocrisy is covering your vision from seeing the plights of the poor. You rob the poor and the needy. You suck the devil out of them. And you sit on a platform preaching to yourself, preaching to 14 people, but you do nothing to help anybody. And if you don't get paid by the church, you don't show up. And when you preach, you need money for that sermon for the day. And if you sing, they got to pay you to sing. And if you play the organ, they got to pay you to do it. Bunch of hypocrites. So let's get off of church. And don't say that's why any of you don't attend church. Don't let nobody stop you from going to church and glorify your God. Because one day you got to stand before him. And the people who got in the accident, their entire life flashed before them. Their destiny was sealed. There is no repentance then. So be careful with the Christian church. It's real. It's not a game. It's not a fairy tale. You might have different opinions about different churches. But you got to fear God and give glory to him. Because the hour of his judgment is come. But let's go back to speaking about the ills in the society and the hypocrisy that have plagued the society. Women raped by men of influence, both in the church and in the society, and you cover it up because of their family name. And the poor woman is scarred for the rest of her life. She can't even sit in a proper relationship because it is hunting her daily, and she don't want to tell anybody about it because she don't trust any of you because you will go back and talk about it. And I hear these stories every day of my life. And that's why I'm here, because I hear the story. You have no time to listen to them, and they would not call you because you have no relationship with them. But I made it my business to listen. And so you major in minor while your society is going down a place of no return. If you don't stand up now, you will lose your generation. You will have a generation of vipers. You've got to save your generation. And now you can't even save them by asking them to come and sit down in your church all day. Because they know who we are. They see us. One thing with young people, they can see hypocrisy from afar. They can smell it, they can see it, they can sense it. And they laugh at many of you. No influence in the society. With your fake smiles. And your fake... Let me not go there. It's time for us to have a real people in the society, man. You can't speak about any issues unless you're insulted, humiliated, dragged in the mud. They know nothing about you. Let me tell you something. And if you want to talk about boasting, I'm the cleanest as cleanest. The only thing they have against me is little nonsense. Things that I speak about every day. And I told you all, I used to teach people mangoes when I was a young boy. All of us did it. Steal marbles, steal sugar apple, steal sugar cake, steal sweetie. We're a bunch of little thieves. But, you know, we take fun in doing those little things. Yes, it's wrong. But when you're young, you make a lot of stupid decisions that you regret, like making children early without getting an education. That's a stupid mistake and must be called out. And many of them have to have children because the mothers send them to some of these men because they can't buy books. We can avoid a lot of these problems in the society by providing the means as a government to the people and not talk. If you put aside millions of dollars for the young people, distribute it to them if you really have it there for them. Distribute it for them. Go in all the communities and look at their businesses, whether it's CMOS or whether it's clothing or some design or internet designing or whatever it is, graphic design. Go into those, you can find them. Don't pretend like they have to come to you. You go to them and find them in the community because you don't know them, you see. So they got to come to you because you don't know them. You have no relationship with them except for when you want their vote. You give them a stupid ball and a stupid net, and you sponsor some stupid ugly uniform that don't fit them because you need their vote, but you don't know them. And they call you boss man because that's what they know you as. You drive around in your big car like a boss man, but you don't know them. You have no relationship with them. And I know there are many of you, man, many of you can identify with what I'm saying. So I was speaking about women who were raped by family members and by neighbors and best friends. And they got to shut their mouth because you're in a high position and they're afraid of you. And some of these wicked mothers blame the children for getting raped. Shame on you. And sometimes it's your own husband and your own husband and boyfriend that rape those children because you don't have time to even watch your own children. You're busy trying to impress a drunken man. And you make sure that he have a meal and you make sure that he gets sex and everything else. But your daughter and your children, they're there languishing, lack of love, you don't even pay attention to them. And many of them are suffering in silence. And some of you mothers take them for abortion and you know what you're doing. Some of you know the right bush to give them to drink. And you do not report it to the police and those children are suffering and you have a society like this and you want to know what is going on in the society. Enough is enough. Where's the voices of the Christians? Half of the people are not in your church. They're in the community. Where are the churches? In one district, you have the Pentecostal, you have the Catholic, you have the Adventists, you have the Evangelicals, and you have the Rastafarian, and you have all the others, including the Obeah. All of them are in the society. Bunch of greedy people. And all they do is have a one-day program to show off on Facebook that they're doing something. The people of the community need a program an ongoing program, not a one-day program. You can't solve somebody's problem for one day. Get into the communities, get out of your churches. Politicians, get out of your office, air-conditioned offices, and go meet the people. You sit down for photo op during election, before elections. You sit in the old people home. You sit on the step and you force yourself to eat. When you go home, you go and you take something to wash it out of your stomach because you're disgusted. And you use hand sterilizer to wash your hands because they're not in your class. And it is time for a movement to stand up against these social injustice in the society. We're busy online fighting over garbage. Some of you are full of yourself. You're selfish. And I challenge any one of you to challenge me on what I said here tonight. And by the way, for those of you who are screenshotting and taping, continue taping. It's the truth. The truth will set me free. Caller, you on the... Oh, we missed that call? I had a call coming through. But I dare you. Folks, call me. The line is open. The lines are open. I'm on a roll tonight, and I'm not going to step down from it. I'm very disturbed because of the level of the hypocrisy in the society. And I myself have practiced some of the hypocrisy too. It's time for us to hold politicians accountable for what they say. Hold them accountable for promises that they have made. And the next election, I'm asking you people, unless they come to you and sit down with you and outline a plan for you and sign saying this is what we will do, don't listen to them. Enough is enough. Caller, you're on the air. Something is happening here. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to call this person back to make sure that the lines are working correct. Please bear with me. So hold a minute. WhatsApp is telling me I have to allow. Something went wrong with the phone. Okay, good. So now we're on the air. I'm going to call back this caller because I need to hear from you, St. Lucians. And tell me where I'm wrong. I'm willing to accept the correction. Caller, you on the air.
Yes, hello. How are you? Good night, sir. How are you, Mr. Garfield?
I'm upset tonight, sir.
Well, did you ever... You made a point that women are getting pregnant and not getting educated.
Yes.
Isn't that what the former Prime Minister was preaching to the youth, the young women in St. Lucia, in the House when, at that time, the opposition knocked him steadily. And then they are now running the country. And during the youth debate, the minister for tourism, whatever, knocked him again. And now everybody is seeing where he was right.
But he was right. They played politics with that statement. He was right.
And now they made a whole sham.
Yeah.
But I have one thing for the people in St. Lucia to understand.
Yes, sir.
Is the devil running this land? One, or we are living in a world of Magog. Go to Revelation.
Your Bible man.
And if you haven't reached the part of Magog yet, maybe you could go further with it on your show tonight.
Yeah.
Because it is an interesting way for people of evil like this government. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I think I don't want to say too much now, but I leave them to think what a Magog is.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you
for
very
calling.
much.
Yes. Folks, the lines are open, and this is real talk tonight. And the sad thing is that when you have politicians on either side stand up and speak the truth, then they got to go and apologize for speaking the truth because there is some false outrage in the society where people think that somebody's calling you a dog or somebody is calling you some other names. And listen to the hypocrisy, folks. Listen to this hypocrisy. And we must call it out tonight. Tonight is a call out night, and then we will settle in for our next show. Let's be real tonight. Let's take off the jacket and the camouflage. Let's get down. Let's get in the mud. Let's get down to the real issues in the society. Like education. You leave the people dumb long enough, and you get into office every time you want to get into office. I'm not saying any politician deliberately forcing people to be dumb. But for God's sake, you can have classes on Google. You can have classes on you can go to even YouTube and learn a lot of skills. You can go there instead of gossiping and spreading all kind of rumors and spreading all kind of nonsense about I'm a devil. with pictures with me with horns. How dare you do the prophet of God that nonsense? I come against it in the name of Jesus. And I reverse those swords and those darts. It's evil. Caller, you on the air tonight. I'm outraged.
Good evening, Garfield.
Yes, caller.
You have a reason to be outraged. You have a reason to be outraged. Because like the Bible tells you, he who have eyes, let him see. He who have ears, let him hear.
That's right.
And that is so ticklish. A lot of people will not be able to understand it.
Yeah.
God is telling us that we have these body parts on ourselves, and we are blind, and we cannot see, we cannot hear. So those who can see and hear need to speak up.
Yeah.
We need to speak up. And I love the way you are going. You are shaking the place up to bring out the truth. The truth, the light, which is God. These two things that is God. He tell you when he shine his light on us, he expose our dirty deeds, what we are doing in the dark.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Thank you.
But let me say something again, Garfield.
Talk to me.
Can you imagine that you have politicians that are going to attack the real problems of your country, the problems that most politicians do not want to touch? For instance, we had this senator in the former government.
Who's that?
Who tackled the alcohol, that's Mary Isaac.
Okay. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And she tackled that alcohol consumption problem that we have in this country.
And it is a real problem, caller. It is a real problem.
Exactly. And it was so shameful and disgraceful to see the way the opposition and the operatives, the now government, drag this lady in a dirty gutter to confuse the minds of the people that what this lady was saying is a lie.
Yeah.
The lady said so. She said when the gentlemen, especially the men, when they get paid, instead of going home, the first stop will be at the cabaret, the rum shop.
And they end up at the wrong home after. They end up at the Jabal home, the wrong home. Yeah.
It has an effect on the household.
That's
it has an effect on the children.
Yeah.
On society in general.
That's right.
And when I keep on saying that, when politicians go and attack these places, no, these are people that want changes in the country.
Yeah.
Because these are very ticklish. You will lose a vote if you go there. And when you have leaders that don't care with a vote, but they're going to go there, you have to embrace these people and give God thanks for these people. And work with them so that we can see the change coming in.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And that's the only way we can stamp out these things. Not to have a government there that everything is a rural, like they say in a special prosecutor.
What you say?
To do what? To just fool the people.
Yes.
And you're looking at the people. Don't tell me these people that are supporting these things do not know and they cannot see that the persons that are saying these things about special prosecutor and corruption, these are the same people that are involved in the corruption. Are they blind? Or are they just playing a blind eye?
Well, I know a lot of heads.
Who do they think that they are
Well, I know a lot of heads should roll if there is a major investigation in government.
But that's what I'm telling you. If they had to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Okay? If they have to do it the right way.
Of course.
The shame will be on their side.
Yep. Yep.
Why is it when a government investigates another member of parliament, you cannot make the findings available for the public? Why
Because
is it?
they're casualties of those war, you know. You lose
Thank
some
you
men.
very
You
much.
lose some men in the process, and some key men too.
Exactly. And these are the things, the people under the lives that are coming and cursing. We are no longer in the dark ages.
That's right.
We are seeing, so why come and curse? The evidence is there. It is there.
Yep.
We are seeing.
And caller, I was wondering
And
why
the
all
agenda like that.
I was wondering why all the
Go
dads
ahead.
are coming at me, but I just realized that they don't want me to be here, and so they use the Christian card on me. But they're empowering me even more because these things, we need to discuss them. The local news will not discuss them, and some of these talk show hosts, they're on some other scene, and I'm saying let's come here and discuss the issues freely, make your calls, and very soon all of these, the St. Lucian have a name of calling, what do you call it, Pinez? Well, let's not call anybody
Pinez.
Pinez tonight, because I heard somebody said that we need to get some Bob to spray the live before we come on, but we don't have to do that. Once we stay positive and you present truth, then all of them
Exactly.
would
You present
eventually,
the truth to the people.
eventually they will go where all the drama is. That's where they will end up, because there is no drama here. We are speaking truth. And I'm telling you,
That is true.
the next election, you will have a society that is well informed and ready to stand up to politicians and say, hold your $300, hold your chicken back. We can go to the community center and get food now. So you hold your money, hold all
Thank
your
you.
promises, and we are going to vote on the issue.
Thank
That is
you.
what's going to happen. Go
And
ahead,
that is
caller.
what we need to do. We need to educate our people. Educate them with not politics, but truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
With truth.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
And
right.
like the people under the light,
Mhm.
I want them to ask themselves, why is it the government is like hogwashing the media, keeping the media to themselves?
They're hiring all the
Why?
media people. All the media people are in government
Why?
now.
These are the questions the people that are insulting the life,
Yeah.
that are under the life, insulting people. These are the questions they need to ask themselves. Stop staying ignorant, or if they know it and they're just being wicked, and they just, I don't know. These people need God in their life.
Yep.
They need the Holy Spirit to knock them and
And I suspect
nurture
there's
them and
caller.
love them up.
Caller, I suspect there's an
Anyway.
attempt. There's an attempt to basically silent the press in the sense of if we take them off the scene, then they will have to get rookies to go in, and the rookies don't know how to report. The rookies will go with their opinions. They would make a mess of the news. So let's do that. Let's undermine the press. But the press, I always say, is the doorkeeper of justice. It is the door. They are the
Exactly.
gatekeeper. Sorry, the gatekeeper of the democracy.
Exactly, and I keep on telling them they are the ones that is going to let this country down.
No, the country will not go down. I
They
can
are the
guarantee you.
ones.
I can guarantee it's not going to go down because the people need to rise up, educate themselves. I don't care what's your
Thank
age.
you.
Educate yourself and get to work. Thank you, caller.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. So, the rum situation, friends. The truth of the matter is you have a rum problem. Just like in St. Vincent and Barbados, you have a rum problem. The rum in St. Vincent, the Sunset rum, is much stronger than the Bounty rum in St. Lucia. And those people in St. Lucia drink that thing without any, what you call it, I don't drink chaser, whatever you call it. Not even the orange juice they drink with it. Not even with a plate of food. And people are choosing rum over their children's school books. Men are choosing rum over maintaining their family and paying child support. It's a problem. And I will tell you, the government, and y'all are making me lose my mind, because if I lose it enough, I will come down there in St. Lucia and I will run for office. I am saying to you that the government need to tax rum heavy. Alcohol and rum, tax the devil out of it and pay for health care for every St. Lucian. You got to help the people. Tax rum. Tax it as hard as you can with cigarette. Caller, you on the air?
Bonsoir.
Caller, you on the air? Bonsoir. Où ça parle créole, s'il vous plaît?
Moi-même, ça, moi, faut qu'on a bagay, j'en sais plus si moi, bon, comment toujours cadeau?
Friend moi qui là, ma friend moi qui là, monsieur, parlez, à nous parler. À nous parler créole, parlez, bon.
Pasteur.
Sorry.
Moi, après, c'est ça qu'on va faire. Pas quitter ce monde de Kawajo.
Wait, Tansa, money a bagay pour yo. Olive oil, na foutre là yo. Olive oil.
Pour ni moun pour moi majorité gens moi connaître en l'air là ça. Et puis including moi kasi poto. Bagay ça ou vle faire kitchen bagay là ou kay fait.
Yes. Na fait, moi hawe.
Et puis bon moi ça passe ça. Pas quitter moun d'où ça pour faire ça pour pas faire ça ou pas faire là. En chaillant dans yo vle faire ça ou pas faire là.
A lot of them, I don't need their help, because their hands are too dirty, some of them. I don't need their help. We want clean hands and clean feet and clean mind to do this work.
Amen. Bon, l'autre bagaille là, moi, vini pour nous là, about, you can parler about education security. Parce que bon, faut qu'on a bagaille. C'est la manière la faire à là. Si nous même pas garder point d'éducation pour qu'on nous personne pas aider nous.
C'est ça.
Sécurité, c'est pays moins. Et depuis moi levé, jeune maman, c'est bagaille godmother and godfather. Ça pas li bagaille qu'on dit qu'on depuis femme là ou kay monter, depuis femme pas là ou back down. En chaque monde qui voulait ba ou parole là en les Facebook et puis tout partout.
You got to via service tant ça. Ou connect me from Denver, right?
Moi connais tout depuis jeune
ti mamay. Et que c'est mon local parler bêtises via service. Et que bah je me dis John Compton via service ou Kenny Anthony?
Non, pas on go with you. Problème c'est ça, on a hedge en les so yo pas ça pour rien.
C'est ça que vous voulez.
Anyway, maman même depuis on garder maman yo hassle. So yo pas vous venir là.
Et maman moi il passe il sait si comment il passe je me parle créole là. Moi toujours ka oui. N'a pas plus pas toi passer.
Anyway, Pastor, you will get support in what you're trying to do because I'm happy of what you're doing back home, especially in my village of Denry. You will get the support. Whatever I have to do, I will do it.
Moi v'lete, est-ce unité Denry, moi v'lete.
Non, soit moi tenir en terre, même jour moi temps nous dit ça, moi ka doit konka ça.
Moi quand ça hotel là.
Oui.
Moi quand ça hotel moi, on va faire mon oui là crier.
Non, pas ça. Bah là ça pour faire là because I just ça on une bonne idée. Mais moi have some manière dysfunction back home here à présent. So, ou ka y na chote, just ni patience, ou ka y joue na côté because on va parler. Ou ka y na côté.
Na Henley, oui. Même jour moi Henley na bill, allez.
Oui, depuis ou Henley, ou ka y support because ça ou ka faire un bon bagay. Et even les ba même ka y pour faire bagay ba. Pas on ko epio.
Nous ka pour là yo avec nous ka fait.
Oui, yo ni pour ka supporter
nous ka pour dire let tout là yo ba nous nous ka nettoyer, nous ka pour dire là nous ka foutre olive oil là, nous ka bilepi.
Quand nous n'avons pas, nous allons bouger olive oil là ça.
Ou pas qu'à bouger olive oil.
Tu vas bouger ça. Depuis que je monte, on va bouger tout ces bails là.
What's up? Let me just say good night to my friend Maniva Ward. Good night.
Anyway, Pastor, what I really come and say, the last time you all had the thing in New York City.
Yeah.
Now listen to me very carefully.
Okay, écoutez.
Moi-même c'est en flambeau, mais moi-même pas too much in the politics.
Moi tout.
I am somebody. Soit moi moun ka fait bien, n'a supporter moun. Soit c'est magie, n'a dit moun ka fait magie.
Oui.
Now, moi c'est un monde qui franchement, bon faut comprendre bagay. Dit c'est flambeau moi encore pas commencer et puis commencer malement.
Yo mette a moun yo ka kriye bango en le stage.
Oui.
Dis se moun sa pa jamais ki de sa wive yo kon because bango san go le ba.
Oui. Moi chante am ici à te gars chante moi just couper ça because moi-même
Moi confini do.
Allez, na couper.
Moi ka do ça et puis là ni moun ki en le life la yo connaît bango. Bango c'est chous moi ki la tribes moi ki la. Bango c'est comme ton moi ki la.
Oh.
Bango c'est territory moi ki la.
Oh, OK.
So moi-même ka do comme ça. Pas jamais mettre bango pièce ça en la stage flabo.
Tansa, moi te just cameraman moi te ye, Martin Pierce Authority.
Well, the Grand Prix Grim, whatever name.
Si moi te ni authority c'est service nous ka poche ek baptiser moun. Ek maye moun tout bagay.
Comment non monsieur bagay? Ben moi faut comprendre bagay. Dis c'est mon affaire bagay bien because comme la montagne franc bois moi pas prendre magie. Qu'est-ce magie pas venir dans le stage. Bon, from là, c'est mon a discourage of draw because on mette bango le stage.
Ouais.
Bango sans papi chaud. Bango sans tout ça. Et puis bango pas venir pour aider personne passer quoi.
Ou ka faire moi avec ce monde ka Photoshop moi di passer te ka oui.
Non, non yo bango pas besoin venir pour moi because bango ni pour lever grand maman en grave là, maman nous en grave là pour ça judge nous dia. Moi bango c'est nous ka dire nous dia. Yo pas bango pas dire pour et puis moi regarde.
Oui.
Ça n'a pas comprendre moi passer commission ba c'est flambeau.
Oui, yo ka côté moi friend moi niveau word là. Yo pas de côté ça. So chanter même so
Bango ouais si moi comme là j'ai dit chanter ici dit lady qui le dit ça aussi autant comme dire yo dit lady c'est tout chanter on ça chanter en la stage et bango
moi choc tellement ma désave ça pour dire
moi regarde yo bagay à bango et puis c'est Jean Flambeau moi ouvert tous oreilles et passer papi chaud pas commencer avec papi chaud parce que moi même quand on les autres
ouais
et tu es pièce zone ya bagay bango pas mettre bango pièce en d'autres territories mettez bango very far away bango vini sécurité pour qu'on mette nous pas ouais en famille les vini sécurité bango dit comme ça yo ka vini pas ban mais nous content nous kay ouais bango so nous pas l'argent nous prêter l'argent ça pour nous aller ouais bango les nous aller ouais bango tout où ça chous c'est la pointille chous bango c'est la pointe
ouais
génération bango c'est la pointille
la pointe
grand maman madame pas l'argent
oui
c'est tout nous tout passif pour supporter bango because nous content bango yo li ka chanter là nous rive là pas bango chanter
si ka chanter about Buwik là
bango chanter salté à tourner yo salté à deux yo tout partout de nuit c'est salté bon quoi mettre bon quoi la tête so souple dans ma de cette flambeau moi
OK
avec bango en la stage qui a bien qui a mal c'est flambeau acheter de cause of for because nous flambeau nous pas capable
because moi time say take off like you shot about Buwik moi sauter moi do ça sauter tu m'as battu mais bon
parce que papi chaud tout fait bango en ligne elle souple dans ma des os ils ont commencé bien mais dit bango quoi ces gens qui en la life là moi pas yo kay mening bay bango
oui
bango quoi avant vini pour moi à lever maman no grave là et puis maman no ka judge nous déjà
et qui
moi ça pas vini pour moi
OK moi t'en saudi là
so c'est pour ça moi couyo là en soir et puis moi content ça quoi faire moi kay supporter Québec confort Mamoli
yeah elderly lady in Dennery il dit moi joue pile mais no pile Pamoli something like that I can't remember what it was an old Pat was saying bend but don't break. All right.
Oui, on est pour continuer qu'on fait du Pamoli.
Yeah, exactly.
Oui. Mais Pastor, God is good with you and you, but you are already protected. I know, right?
Amen.
I know it's already.
Just continue praying
but
for me, all right?
the armor of God always. And my Flambeau people stay strong, man. We're gonna come back and we're gonna come back strong.
But you have a nice you have nice English and vous parlez bel patois.
Moi-même, quoi, moi, là, seul bagay, moun n'a parlé patois, moun qui pas qu'à comprendre, n'a pas l'anglais, moun qui pas qu'à comprendre patois. Mais des fois, qu'à comprendre patois, m'a qu'à fin anglais, moi, les pièces nobody.
Tansa, si you deport moi service, what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach patois in St. Vincent and make some money to buy land.
Yo, pas ça.
Si you deport moi, oui. N'a fait classes online, oui.
Modu yo pas sa deport ou ale pièce c'est ça qui deport yo ka deport ou.
Bon, see where shy politicians can vini class house have.
Non, badou ça, ou faut qu'on y passe pour ce toujours.
Et c'est mon là have le deport moi. Yo di moi c'est Carib qui sorti service même que John Compton oui. A moun de moi fait à l'air gloire yo di moi fait oui, à l'air gloire oui.
Bon badou ça, c'est why yo ka yo il faut tirer tout le monde qui passe yo c'est Christy. Et Guyana needs everybody, Jamaica, everybody gotta go.
Tansa, si yo fait moi ça na deport dernier just simply from la week.
Yo pas qu'à faire ça. Bon, on va pas deport moi je
Ou ka na deport tout le monde ka aller. Tout le monde. Juste faire moi answer na deport tout le monde ka aller. You can't put this on toi va ici ici. C'est laisser bouger nous.
Moi papa issue moi je vais coller le Facebook là il a pour
Qui est-ce qui papa issue?
Anson qui papa issue.
Oh baby daddy. Oh liki baby daddy qui la parle moi qui la usa baby daddy.
Mais c'est liki papa ou pas que c'est moi qui t'a parlé dernier coup là pas ça. Laissez Anson vinn couiller quoi à il sorti from ala comme. Ou pas ça c'est moi qui t'a parlé là?
Oui, ça vrai, oui, baby mommy, yeah, that's true.
Well, c'est moi qui là. Mais Dianson Jebe ko il faut pas molli. Dans venir pour l'Italie.
Ou quand Anson toi, ou quand toi, ou miss Anson nous savent.
Non, when he Anson, moi pas Anson aller hell, so mon pour super server Anson Anson.
Put it by Anson man. Put it by.
Moi just pour pas ouais pour Anson a besoin, mais moi ni pour ka venir pour lui pour super server. Pour comment dit ça là, comment mon avait live la bali.
Nah, but, you know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, we can disagree. We can have fun. You know, everything is not doom and gloom. They say, "Muna, they want to make me into a devil, all kind of nonsense, a hypocrite. I should not be in this." Ma'am, could say, "Munsa, anupale."
People, do what God wants you to do.
Amen.
People will put you into hell if you have to listen to people.
Listen to me. They've already put me down. I came out.
When I grew up back home, and my little Denry place, they used to call us country bookie because we couldn't speak English. You couldn't go cash, and your mother couldn't afford.
That's right.
And I watched Denry, and then they had two guys from Denry that be a big post in St. Lucia. That is what his name? Mr.
Regis.
And Mr. Comment on look là, bon Dieu, look là t'es monté pour élection, hein? Fredry.
Who?
Fredgy, whatever his name is.
Okay, I know who. Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched these two guys when they left in Dennery, and I was so proud because I said, "Oh, good things," because they always say bad things come from Dennery. And I was so proud of them when they reach in Castries.
Yeah.
Let's say one side with the Castries, obligé de Dennery.
Yeah.
Et puis on dit à pour yo parler, yo say tellement moun, mais we just can't just watch what's going on.
Yes.
Because these people could have moved all these young boys by the bay.
It's true.
And make them be a soldiers. They're supposed to have their own soldiers.
Yeah.
The valley supposed to have their own soldiers. Everywhere in St. Lucia supposed to have their own soldiers. And these people come out from the force without doing nothing for the people in Dennery.
Yeah. But we need more.
And I'm not going to lie to tell you. What Freddy lived in Dennery, it was tears. He left in Dennery. Wow. And he know about it.
Wow. Yeah.
So I am telling y'all, when it comes to help people, the people don't really care about the people in Dennery. And if these people that have one life in Dennery, they know about these two things I'm talking about. They are the one that come out from Dennery when they used to call Dennery country bookie. They cannot speak English. Nothing good will come out from Dennery. But God allowed the two of them to step up in Castries. Yon te commission up, yon te kisa sa. Yon tout les détenus go post.
Yeah.
Et puis Dennery bin jinti mama yi. So you pop your just le pay yo. Et puis pass by yo, no position, nothing.
Yeah.
And that hear me. I looking at these two people every time. I say, look at these people that think they're so educated. And look at them. Today, I think one of them came the last time and go up for election. He would never win in Dennery. You could have done what he wants, Fred. You would have never done read in Dennery because he left tears in Dennery.
Yeah, the people of Dennery are smart, and I grew up among them.
But I pray to God
nice people.
That the young children in Dennery and the young boys in Dennery, God will lift them up and make them be something better in the future.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of educated people in Denry.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Denry is a very...
We pas education, but we have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, true. Denry is a unique place.
Based on wisdom, not on education. Education is
Yeah,
magic.
yeah. Yeah. I love the community, you know. Yeah.
And some part later c'est moi quoi ni éducation. Mais là moi en ce monter l'Amérique, là moi garder en ce garder pas ni éducation l'Amérique. Magique ça ça parler.
You see, you go and sleep now. Go and listen to the live.
Okay. All right, bonsoir.
Okay, good night. Thank you for calling. That was a great call. You know, it's her opinion, and once she can release my stress, I'm happy. She did not disrespect anybody. Folks, I hope that you're having fun. The number to call is 929-586-1821. And we were speaking about the hypocrisy in the society with the rum situation. I said, and I'm going to say it again, and I know all the people who drink rum like tea, they're going to come at me. But I'm saying to you that the government need to tax rum, take half of the tax from gas, and put it on rum. Trust me, you will not lose. You will get it from both government ministers and some of those hypocrites in the back of the churchyard who drinks on the cover in paper bags. So I'm saying to you, tax rum and alcohol. Tax it hard. And you will recover a lot. Take it off from some of the foods. Do like what New York did with soft drinks. Yes, they tax that thing so heavy. And cigarettes, man, the taxes on cigarettes, it's ridiculous that people are buying one or two and they're asking, begging everywhere to give me a cigarette, give me a cigarette. That's how heavy they tax that thing. You create a healthier society, ain't it? So I'm saying, you know, we got to get, you got to get your priorities right. Mr. Anthony, leave my friend Molly Mall alone. Leave my friend alone, all right? And I'm getting to like Anthony Mondays, you know. I get to like him. I honestly get to like him. He has been there pushing me and poking me and pushing me and poking me. And so, Anthony, welcome to the platform. You're officially on board. We'll give you your membership. We're not going to send you to bed tonight. Or we're not going to ask anybody to supervise the use of your device. But we welcome aboard, sir, Captain. You're my co-pilot for the night. All right? But be nice. Be nice to my people. All right? Be nice, be nice. But I want us to tax. I will go back to the messages under the live shortly just to see what you're saying. But folks, I'm telling you the truth. We should tax alcohol and cigarette. And I'm saying we should tax it very hard where people will quit. Those who are hooked on it, they will help us to maintain our health system. They will help the senior citizens to get proper health. Because half of the people who are dying on the streets most of the times are from persons who are drinking alcohol. Alcohol drinkers are causing St. Lucia and insurance companies thousands of dollars, and they're causing families endless, useless grief in the society. And here we just came to a... Listen to me. Let's put that in our manifesto. Let's put it in our manifesto. We are going to increase taxes on alcohol and cigarettes. Why? Because the damage that some of these drivers, drunken drivers, and most accidents at night is people coming home, they're running from somebody, from some jabal, and they're flying, going home drunk. They think they're on the other side of the road, and they're on the other side of the road, and bam! Another fool comes, half drunk, run into that same drunkard. And it's two drunkards in an accident and innocent lives. People who are not even drunk, not even involved in their nonsense, get killed. And how do you deal with that? Tax them. They'll go home sober. Tax them hard. And the other thing I can say for the healthcare system is to implement maybe it's a little $40 a month. You ask everybody to pay. Every working person contribute $40 a month towards healthcare so that everybody can have free healthcare on the island. Ask people to contribute. Because no one should die because they don't have money for cancer treatment. Nobody should die because of it. Nobody should die because they can't afford to fly out to America or to England or somewhere for health care. No St. Lucian should die because of it, folks. And instead of talking about these things, you're fighting over Shasnik color. You're fighting over whether I'm a Vincentian, an Arab, or I'm from Israel. That's what you're fighting over. You're fighting over Facebook numbers. You're fighting over me asking for land to build something in St. Lucia for the senior citizens. That's what you're fighting over, you know, not even the issues. And these are selfish persons. How can the society grow when you have these type of mentalities in your society? Sit on their thrones, contribute nothing. And they boast, oh, I gave this person $1 and what is $1? Get into the neighborhoods and work the neighborhoods. You see Mr. Charles, Mr. Marvin Charles, he's messed up and he crazy and everything else. But he does a lot too for his community. I remember last year or some years ago, the man baked a whole sort of pizza, delivered to police, everybody. I never seen anything like that in my life. While you have Pizza Hut and these big establishments ain't giving not even the flour that fall on the floor they're giving. They prefer to throw it in the garbage. Kentucky, all these people could have been delivering food to the hospitals, to the nurses and doctors who are working overtime. They're greedy. They took from the nation in time of peace, and they refuse to give back to the nation in time of need. Bunch of greedy people. All these stores, S&S's in St. Lucia for years. Komilane, you can van Jari, you can van Chinese, you can van. Some of the things smell like oil. Some of the things, by the time you wear it and you go onto the van to go home, it drop. The bottom of the shoes drop. I was in St. Lucia years ago, a younger boy. I went and I saw 2 pairs of shoes for $10. Nice church shoes. I went and I bought the church shoes, man. I went to the Denry Seventh-day Adventist Church in the village. I put on a nice shoe, a nice pants, a nice shirt with my high top hair. That time they used to call it Gala Rush. My high top hair. I'm a pretty face. I'm a pretty self. And I go down in the church, man. In the middle of the church, the bottom of the shoes drop down. One day I wear it. The day wasn't even finished yet. The shoe was unholy. The bottom of the shoe drop in the church. And these people refuse to go and help the society, help the people during COVID. Let's talk about that. How many of them try to help provide food for the community? I heard workers were stranded on the streets trying to get home. Hotel workers and hospital workers stranded. Who came to the aid? The minibus drivers. Some of them were hiding. And they want to increase. And I'm not saying they shouldn't get increased. But come on now. How do we give back to our society? Retired nurses, retired doctors. Where were all the retired nurses and doctors? Could not any one of them say, look, this is a war against COVID. We're going to get involved. We're going to ask the government how we can come in and help. How many of them said that? And you're fighting over Facebook numbers? How foolish can we be? That's where the problem lies in the society. That's where we got to root it up, dig it up, and demand better from community leaders, church leaders, politicians, local governments, from the Senate to the House. Demand better from them. Don't let them treat you like you owe them. They owe you. You give them the privilege of traveling first class overseas while you can't even jump on a donkey to go to Castries. You empower them and they turn around and they cuss you off and treat you like dogs. And go and tell people that I'm calling you dogs. Go and take my statement and turn it how you want. Bunch of hypocrites in the society. How many retired teachers decided to get back in the field during COVID and see how they can go in their community with a mask and help? How many of them who still strong walking around in people's business all over the village? All over the Daito, minding people business in Dennery. All over the Cass Reef Wharf, looking at who bringing the latest thing and who watching people business, who bringing in barrel in their house. How many of these professionals give back? Lawyers give back to their country. How many? And you people, you're killing your own brothers and sisters. You're fighting your community people. And giving people mapui, all them nonsense you're talking about persons who are trying to make a difference in the society. You're trying to discourage them. I hear some ignorant person saying, "Oh, we don't want that community kitchen in St. Lucia. Tell them take it to St. Vincent." Stupid talk. Yes, we got to talk real. We got to be real, man. We're too fakey. We need more real leaders to stand up, man. We have a lot of good leaders out there, but they're afraid to come out and talk. You have good people out there waiting to get involved. You have people with integrity out there who want to get involved and serve their country. Both on Labour and the UWP, they're out there. They want to come in, but they're afraid what you will do with them. There are some young people out there with a lot of knowledge. There are some young people out there with skills. They can serve their community. They're young and they're strong, man. And they want to serve their country. But you old people in politics, you're blocking them because you love power. Some of you need to retire and go home and sleep. You eat enough taxpayers' money. Go home. Let the young generation get involved. Go home. Let them get involved. And be a good example to them, because when you get your arthritis, get your stroke and everything else, and your teeth fall out your head, and your vision is gone, and your head is as bald as mine, and you go home, who is going to take over when they're afraid? Because they're afraid that when they try to help their country, that you will call for investigations on them because they are of another party. You will call for investigations because of some personal vendetta, because maybe you were not elected as party chair or you were not elected as the political leader. Bunch of hypocrites. Wait for your turn. Everybody can't lead at the same time. Stand in line and do your best. And if the party sees you as a fit leader, they will elect you both on both sides. No country or anybody to be no prime minister. You got to work for it. You got to own it. Work. Nobody's entitled to the throne. What, you think this is the Queen of England? God, she's gone. You think it's a monarchy? Because you served for 40 years that you're entitled to be prime minister? If you can't lead, you shouldn't be there. Best you go get some politicians from America to come and lead until you can find somebody. But some of you got to wait your turn. You like too much power. You're power hungry. And so you will do anything to get power. You will stain people's reputation. You will leak documents. The amount of WhatsApp leak I'm seeing out of the United Workers' Party is a shame. And guess what? Leaders, people who want to be leaders, leaking. Who are you going to lead after you finish leak? Nobody can trust you. You're a leaker. You have no integrity if you're leaking people's private discussions. Why people can't sit privately and have these real discussions? Why can't somebody sit down in a special room and say, I don't like Mr. Shaston, because I don't like his policy on this, but I don't like his leadership on this? Why can't people do that with respect and knowing that the conversations will be protected? Why can't they have those discussions? Why should they not have that discussion? Why? Bunch of power-hungry old men that blocking young people from getting involved because of their greed. Some of these young people can do much better than you in politics. They can be better leaders. And I know of a lot of them in the church who want to sow, but they're afraid that you'll tell them, stay out of politics, you bunch of hypocrites. You need them. You need their service. You need their service. You need it. Get out of the way. But I say to you, and I say it again, you want to lead a party, but you're leaking and you're threatening people in your own party. What are you doing? How do you lead after that? Who follow you after that? Who will follow you after all these leaks? I'm trying to figure this out. I'm telling you the truth. I'm confused. Imagine you have a party, whether you're Labour or UWP, right? And close to elections, people on the inside digging holes in the ship. You don't think the ship will sink? And this ship that, the UWP ship that sank at the last elections, I'm not blaming one person. There was a lot of holes in the center of that ship. There was a lot of holes, and the poor captain could not detect some of the holes because some of the holes were camouflage as not holes, if you understand what I'm saying. The captains believed that everybody was on board. But there were persons digging holes in the ship. And the ship would sink eventually, ain't it? Try that in your house. Telling the neighbor things about your wife. You try that. She put sleeping pills in your food for you. You sleep all night. Huh? Let's be real. Let's talk real issues. No integrity. No integrity among leaders. And there's some who take a piece of a clip and they beat it all over the place. Why? Why? Why do we do that? Why can't we talk the issues, man, and leave people's character alone? Nobody will never hear me disrespect and call Mr. Pear anything out of his name. I wouldn't try that. And if I did, God forgive me. I have a bad memory. So if I did, God forgive me. But we have to respect our leaders, and we have to teach the new generation, the young generation, how to do so. Outrage over a government office, a government leader saying that we have an alcohol problem. But back to those people, those businesses who give back nothing. All they do is take in and underpay their staff. Many of them are still paying their staff $2, $2.50 an hour and $4 an hour. And you telling me I shouldn't speak. I heard somebody cussing me off over the minimum wage in St. Lucia. A family, taking home less than $2,000 a month. How that family is going to survive? And they come to your job and you treat them like animals. You push them, you overwork them, you make them do things that they should not even do. You turn them into messengers when they are only janitors. You want them to do both janitorial work and messenger. And then you want them to go and buy chicken back for your dogs. Oh yes, a lot of you do it. You want them to, oh, by the way, as you're outside, go drop this letter for me by Johnny. Bunch of hypocrite. You know you're underpaying that poor person. They can't even drink water on your job. Huh? They can't even get sick, because if they get sick, you're quick to deduct. You people, I know you. I know you. These are the issues that we should be talking about, not people's character. It's not what we should be discussing. Issues that affect our mothers and our fathers and our children. Matters that affect the environment, the safety of our children in schools, the safety of our hospital workers, both at the stadium and in Castries. But a minimum wage, we need to have that discussion. You must have the discussion. You should have the discussion. But don't let me be the discussion, folks. Forget about me. I hear someone said somebody's getting $300 a month. What? A fortnight. How can a family? By the way, some of you call me, tell me how much you're getting paid. Don't be afraid. What is the average pay in St. Lucia? Apart from government workers and bank workers. And by the way, some people in the bank don't even get proper pay. They're watching millions of dollars and they ain't getting a cent. Huh? Some of them still got to go borrow. I'm gone are the days when I used to be working years ago. You used to go and ask the boss for IOU, a little $50 because you can't go back home. You have to pay. You can't eat. Sometimes you're hungry. You have to choose between transportation and food. Many of you know what I'm talking about, you know. Huh? Reverend, talk to me. Many of you know what I'm talking about. Having to make ends meet. And having to go to politicians to basically beg them to help you. Beg them. And you hear them now in the house, the people's money. All of a sudden it's the people's money. If it's the people's money, give it to them. During Corona, when Mr. Chasney tried to keep the country afloat, you were protesting, you were boycotting, you were receiving leaked documents, information, you were beating down every effort. By the way, you didn't even understand COVID yourself. You don't even understand what the hell was happening in the country at the time. You didn't understand it, but you're criticizing everything. You said the country's the worst, the worst. Why are you enjoying the country being the worst? Why? And you desire to lead. The Bible says, be careful what judgment you put out to others. It will come back to you. And now everybody's crying foul. And guess the new talk. Where were you when the UWP was in power? Where were you? Well, we were right there. But you awake the sleeping giant. And there are many of them out there. Huh? So here you have a government in the middle of a crisis fighting. They did not even understand. And thank God for good judgment. One time you hear the opposition say, shut down the country. Another time they say, open the country. Another time, shut it down. Shut down the port. Why are you shutting down the port? You listen to advice from people like that and you like Bugs Bunny in the center of this. By the time they finish with you, your head fall off because they turn you all around. And you got to lead in that environment. One time they tell you shut it down. Another time they tell you open it. Another time they tell you the people want to enjoy Carnival. Why are we not having Carnival? Another time it's something else. Another time you hear hundreds of people dying. Another time they say, oh, the government caused hundreds of people to die. Another time one say, oh, the government did well. Another time the government did worse. Another time they're protesting outside during the midst of COVID. Protesting for power. What kind of people are, what are we doing as a nation, folks? And you the people sit down and you enjoy this type of, and you don't realize that you're being fooled. And I'll tell you how you're being fooled. Any one of you try and go and have an operation. See if you can find a bed. Try and have an operation. See if you will get through with it. Unless you have to go and sell pork and roast barbecue, raise money for your operation, your cancer operation. Go try that. I got a call from a man. He said to me, Mr. Alan Chasney, this thing knocked me off my chair. He said to me, sir, and I get a lot of calls these days. He said, sir, I just wanted to let you know that I had an operation, a cancer operation, because Mr. Chasney is the one who sent me overseas. He paid for me to go and get the treatment. When he told me that, I said, I don't want to hear nothing else. Let's highlight the positive. How many of you can highlight the positive things that Mr. Alan Shastney has done? Your one-track negative mind. A one-track mind that cannot speak of the positive, but the negative is a blighted mind. Liberate your minds from that blight. And by the way, ignorance, I mean not ignorance, but that kind of blight is like a obia. Liberate yourself from that ignorance. When the man told me Alan Shastney sent him for an operation, I never heard that in the news. I never heard anyone of these people speak about these things, and we have to highlight them. And I wish people can call me and tell me the stories that me highlighted here. But all you hear is this man is like, and the way they talk about this man, Satan has nothing on him, you know. Brethren, let's be real. Based on what they're saying about Mr. Shastney, you compare Shastney with the devil, the devil will look at Shastney and run. But I say in each of us there is good. And in each of us with that same good, we can be bad. In the twinkling of an eye, we can flip. In the twinkling of an eye, we can make an error. And many of you have made a lot of errors in life. Many of you have children that you didn't plan for. Many of you have things that you did not plan to get into. And they burden you down now. You wish you did not make those decisions. Many of you bought homes that were foreclosed because you made a wrong judgment. You could not afford it. Huh? Because you sell some cocoa, a wholesale of cocoa this week and next week and last week. You think that that's a good income, so I can buy a house now. But you didn't look down the future that anything can happen and you don't get cocoa sell. I speak broken English too. Huh? Come on, talk to me. Let's talk real. Instead of talking garbage about people's character. So let's go back to Alan Shastney. I want to finish this story. We got to highlight the good in people. Speak good about your children. Speak good over your children's life. Speak good over your neighbor's life. Speak good over their children's life, and blessings will follow you. Remember the judgment that you put out for others? Come back to you. We have a caller. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Brother Garfield, it's me calling back again. I heard you talk about the wages back home.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Brother Garfield,
mm-hmm.
my grandfather always taught me one thing.
Mm-hmm.
He always says, "Tuo paso ufed. Lo pani mun puye do. E tu men pasaye de ko. Ukay puyan sa."
Okay, puy.
When I watch St. Lucia, when people work, you're telling me somebody go to work for a whole week, and the person is just getting that amount of money, cannot even tell her mother or her father, look at $50 to buy a little groceries. And there's a lot of big people that have big business in St. Lucia, and they're using the people.
Yeah. Especially the young people.
Now, Brother Garfield, remember in the book of Judges, talk about a lady named Deborah.
Deborah, yeah.
And then I think the governor was I'm mobile no governor, but you're supposed to know about the story of Deborah. And then this man was a governor, and the governor he was the Gideonites. The Gideonites was working hard for their money.
Yeah.
And they used to hold them and take all what they have and take all their strength and everything.
Yeah.
And this woman stand up for them. They say she was the judge. And she tell Barak yes. was the governor. She tell Barak, padi mwen kon sa. Ou ka kite se moun ka travay pou wa sit as a governor pa ka di rien. Now I just preface what I this is pas qu'on dit, mais knowing Deborah as some comment c'est qu'on y aller Barak.
Yeah.
Now Barak herself saying, ini degwe nan jamne ou ta. Barak seul nom ki ni degwe nan jamne.
Yeah.
Barak a dit Deborah comme ça, if you go, I'll go.
If you go, I'll go.
Now the callers on the live there, let me make you all understand something. You see St. Lucia? En femme ni pour faire contrôle en tout partout sécurité. Il a changé moi disons ça. Nous ni pour mettre ces gros sacs caca cochon ça à terre. Mettez une presse colon en sous côté. Et puis femme qui a libre sécurité. Changez moi disons ça. Because on chaque parti show nous happen for years and years. En bas c'est mon ça. Moi des femmes qui ni pour double et puis changer toutes ces lois ça yoni là. Et puis pour nous toutes femmes, bon c'est comme ça. C'est comme ça. Donc bien calcé. Joli pour supporter toute femme qui monte en tout partout. Mettez ces noms à tête. Nous allons faire nos magiques, tout ça, le café. Now, this is what happening to St. Lucia right now. In the book of Judges, had already written these things.
Yeah.
And this is what? But a woman will stand up, and mark my word, a woman will stand up and lead this nation of St. Lucia. Et puis, pas yon tout seul, tout ce qu'on dit, qui fait, mettez ces cochons à tête. Yon c'est magie, pas years and years, mon cap, ouais, misère. Denui, money, combien de monde qui dit business, denui? You can say que mon travail red from depuis 6 heures pour marcher pour j'y construire. Et bien les personnes libre acheter commission pour Simenio.
Yeah, it's true.
That is very sad.
And
for you to be taking advantage on people like that.
And most of the times, the workers have to go and ask when they have a crisis, they have to go and ask the boss for a loan.
Yeah, and the boss says, après you can pay your travail with. You can pay quoi you can pay l'argent from l'argent you encore. Moi, as a femme right now, dans cette sécurité, là, quand tu as d'habitation, par exemple, dans 6 semaines, on peut supposer qu'il y a même $600. Tous les 6 semaines, n'importe où, pour ça aider les femmes.
True.
Yes, they're working hard. The people working hard underneath the plantation.
Yeah, the St. Lucians are hard workers, man. It's just sad, you know? It's just sad the abuse, yeah.
So, as I was telling you, remember, mark my words, swear more. For me, I mette une nouvelle, ben, moi. En femme, ni pour tout bout. En femme, ni pour tout bout de sécurité. Et puis, toute femme, ni pour. Bah, disons, ça c'est comme ça. D'autres, bien calcé. Ces gens, là, qui ont les life là. Ils n'ont pas qu'à supporter femmes. Il y a l'air pour nous supporter femmes pour tout bout. Et puis, c'est nous, ça. Mettez-vous à sous-côté. Ils c'est pas plus chaud.
Et not support femmes,
This is what I wanted to say about the salary.
Okay.
Low for, low pas for. Et puis, effectivement, low pas ni telle médication, mon cas prend l'avantage en l'eau. But I want them to understand, you may be taking from them in this world, but there's a seat in the judgment for
That's
you.
That's right, I always say, amen.
Bonsoir, Papa Dansil, bonsoir.
Okay, bonsoir. I hope you ain't called back again. Good night. But and she, you know what? I can agree with her too that you need more women involved in some of these organizations, you know. But I mean, there's some women you don't want them in any organization you have. They're ferocious. They're full of themselves. If things don't go their way, they burn down the whole ship. They're Listen, let me not go on. There's some like that. You don't want them in anything at all. You got to cause it to bagay. Once they don't get their way, they burn down everything. They burn you down. They burn down themselves. Yeah, like we see all the time. Okay. Let me continue, and I'm going to close on this, right? Because I see it's 10 o'clock. But I want to finish this story with Mr. Shastny, and we got to be fair. We got to be fair, folks. I want those of you under the live to think critically and be fair. And never say that Mr. Shastny was a perfect leader. You have no perfect leaders. I know one thing you can say, that he did his best during the COVID crisis. Let's acknowledge that. I know a lot of you calling names now and doing a lot of craziness with yourself. Huh? So let's talk about that. So what did they do while he was doing his best to keep this thing afloat? And listen to me, it's the worst time to be a leader. It was the worst time, and a lot of leaders were praying to lose elections. You don't believe me? A lot of leaders were praying to get out of this thing. It was hot, especially in a small country where you are dependent on tourism and you close down your airports. Brothers and sisters, I hope you understand what I'm telling you. That happened to your country. And don't let nobody blindfold you and lie to you and spit in your eyes. Listen to me. I'm telling you. Put yourself in a situation like that. Major crisis. The possibility is that thousands of lives would be lost if you make any maljudgment, any mistake. N'importe manji ou faire moun kamo. And this guy stayed at the hem. with opposition on the inside of his ship, opposition on the outside of his ship. He stayed in that ship. When I looked at Mr. Shaston, I said, boy, this man is getting old before his time. This man was constantly on the air pleading and begging, frustration. Every time he comes with the frustration, I heard one guy came at Mr. Shaston and shouted at him online, shut up, and how dare you, who do you think you are to speak to us like that, like children? And the guy went off, very professional guy. And I sat there and I said, wow. They could not see beyond their politics. The man was frustrated. The man had to put a special force in place from the police to take care of persons who wanted to do their own thing. And you know a lot of St. Lucians, your family, no matter what you tell them, they have to go and see for themselves. If you tell them they will die if they go in that house, they're going in to see if they will die. That's how they are. And that's why you have law enforcement, to enforce. And so the man you see, boy, them wardens started holding people down because everybody who want to fight warden, you know how you all stop when police tell you move? You talk to the police, you cut his mother and his auntie and his dead sister. That's what you do. And let's be real. Oh, my friends, here comes a political system party. The opposition say, oh, take your foot off of our necks. We want to breathe. Black Lives Matters. I say, all of you in St. Lucia black, what are you talking about Black Lives Matters? All of you St. Lucia, why y'all think y'all in America follow suit? Black Lives Matters. Take your foot off our necks. We want to breathe. Then in the boulevard, we want to breathe. Then they start talking about oppression and the slave and the white people and take your neck off. I say, but Lord, what is happening in St. Lucia? I sat there and I looked at it. I got corona too, so I had a lot of time to watch the drama. I didn't miss a beat. And they say oppression, they cry foul on everything. The man come out the house, he sneezed. It's a conspiracy. The man took the vaccine. They said, no, the vaccine was empty. And you all didn't realize that these guys were fighting the vaccines until they were forced to take it in public, you know. Now they're asking, where's the money for the vaccine? Where's the money for the vaccine? When they themselves know that they did not support the vaccine. Well, I never took it. I don't care about vaccine. I was never against it. I was never for it. And they use the vaccine as a beating rod. They use corona. They use everything. They even went fighting on people's private property. All kind of drama during corona. Nobody is saying it's a national crisis. Let's come together. Let's come together and do our part and encourage all these people who was on Facebook shouting all kind of thing. You know what they never did? They never came together and said, folks, it's time for us to stop. Let's support what the government is doing. They're trying to protect us. Yes, we might not like a lot of things, and it's a political season, but listen, we got to save our grandmothers and our children, the vulnerable in the society. Let's give the support. Let's cool out. These people went every day and night beaten down. And never took that same energy to encourage the people to social distance and to adhere to the protocols. They will force some of them to make a statement. You are responsible for yourself. Why you put governments in place? You put governments in place when there's a national crisis to step in and to manage. And so, I'm closing the drama because this should be in a movie, a bad horror movie it should be in, because that's what it is. It was a bad time to govern a nation. An election that should be called, call the election, we want the election, we want it. Power hungry. You beg for the election so bad, you forget that you had to put a good plan in place to govern. Then you get elected and you wake up one morning and say, oh Lord, fellas, you all realize we in here? We got to get to work, you know. You got to follow the science, folks. There was no science before, you know. So science start walking into the government offices. Science show up on the scenes all of a sudden. I don't know where science was all the time, but it showed up. Huh? And that's what we had to deal with. Huh? Supply chains interruptions and a fight for vaccines in the world where countries, bigger countries were siphoning all the vaccines. They were pre-ordering while the small countries were being squeezed. A prime minister deciding, look, I got to protect my people. I need to get, because they were saying, you got to be vaccinated. You got to get a vaccine in order to protect yourself, the vulnerable. And the prime minister now is stuck between that wall. Decide, look, this is a state of emergency. We cannot go through regular order. Let's get the vaccine. Here's an opportunity. Let's get it in. And something went wrong in the zeal to protect a nation. And when you are in time of crisis, a lot of things goes wrong, brethren. A lot of things go wrong. Trust me. And even errors are made with the in the hurry to protect a nation that is vulnerable. And oh, my friends, here comes the pan beaters now, mashing up their pans. Some of them, the pans still have bumps in it. You can't cook rice properly because the rice is burning at the bottom now. When they stew their chicken back, or some of them have air to stew. When they stew their air, the bottom is burning because they were misled. And the anger of the people was used by power-hungry people. And now some of them have to take hammer to take out all the bumps from the pots. A nation was in crisis. And the government had to lead and committed basically political suicide to protect a nation. The nation turned around and say, you thief our money. I remember one of the talk was, we don't need roads, we don't eat roads. Give all the people the money. Just give the people the money. You're borrowing money, give the people all the money. And they know fully well that no government could have done that. They knew that. These leaders knew that. And now here's an opportunity that the country is swinging back with tourism. And we are getting trophies in Jamaica. Oh, yes, man. Yes, sir. Things are up. And listen to me, the trajectory for St. Lucia is great. Here is an opportunity to say to St. Lucia, look the money. Uh-oh. Somebody's getting angry. Oh, yes, you have high blood pressure, don't get angry. Drink water and mind your business. Because it's the truth and it will set you free. And guess what? They say, give the people the money. And instead of they come together to help, they had a hands-off approach, endangering the lives of thousands of St. Lucians, including my family. And we should not talk today because people will get angry. People will get angry. And people will call you names. And all the Christians would come out and say, oh, don't go there, brother. But the truth must be told for the healing of a nation. The Bible says that righteousness exalts a nation and sin brings it to its knee. Any government that governs in right doing and righteousness shall prosper, and the nation shall prosper with it. In order to lift the dark clouds and to drive them away, there must be confession and the truth must be told. And it will drive every dark cloud away so that righteousness can run down the streets of your community from Castries to Dennery, from Soufrière to Micoud, from Gros-Islet into Mushy and all these areas. Let righteousness and truth prevail. And settle yourself in truth and stop believing a lie. Get your heads out of the mud and face the reality that your families will suffer, your children will suffer. And when they suffer and you get sick, high blood pressure, diabetes, you will not get the medical care that you should. They will take you into a stadium and put you to wait until a bed is available, and God knows when that bed will be available. And here is a hospital that will take care of that problem being used as a political pawn and used as a money laundering scheme to pull monies left, right, and center to friends, families, and consultants who are cousins, while the people suffer and die. And I want to ask St. Lucia a question. Do you know the amount of persons who have died at St. Jude? Do you know, or do you remember, or care to remember? Can you not respect the families and in the name of the families, finish the hospital and finish a good hospital that can provide the needs of the people? Can you not do that? Do you remember the souls that perish? The families that are in mourning? Do you not remember families being burnt in a hospital like a furnace, crying out for help in pain and agony? And you are busy siphoning money from the hospital. How dare you do that to a people? And I must be quiet? And shame on all the upholders. I don't care where you're from or what color you represent. Caribbean American News, you're on the air.
Good evening, Pastor Garfield.
Yes, my
How
friend.
are you?
I'm very good, I believe.
Wonderful. You sound like you're in a better mood now.
Thank you for calling.
Pastor Garfield, yes, for sure. Stay strong. You will be attacked because you're speaking truth to power and you're speaking strongly and confidently and boldly. So prepare for the attack.
Yeah.
Pray, pray, pray. Cover yourself. They're going to come at you. They're going to tell you you're a man of God. You're not supposed to speak. I don't know since when religious leaders are supposed to be silent, but I think the Bible has called religious leaders to occupy the highest levels of our government. Mm-hmm. We need men of God in government. We need men of God speaking on things of leadership and governance. So thank you for your voice, Pastor Garfield.
And caller, if they push me enough, I will be in the House of Representatives very soon.
Well, I would like to see you in the House of Representatives because we need men like you to speak boldly, but also men like you who know God. And this mentality that men of God, or if you're a Christian, you're not supposed to get involved in politics, that is the opposite of what should happen. So are we saying we only need worldly people, secular people to be in government? Is that what they're saying?
A bunch of jokers.
We don't want. Exactly. We need men of God. We need Christian men and women.
The Bible says if the righteous govern. The Bible says when the righteous govern, the people are glad.
Exactly. So this whole idea that you're a man of God, you're a pastor, you shouldn't be involved with politics is the opposite of what should be happening. We need more men and women of God. occupying the highest offices of our land.
I think
So I
they
would
need.
love
I
to
think
see
the
you
government also need to
occupying a seat
tax
in the House.
hypocrites, man. They need to tax hypocrites. That's what they need to do. Sorry, that was just a joke. They make
To
enough
raise
money
revenue,
on
boy. I
hypocrisy.
think we should be flush with money if we were
Oh
taxing,
my God,
if
they,
we were
they would tax
taxing
their
the
own selves
hypocrites.
too.
Pastor Garfield, the other thing they will tell you is that you are not born in St. Lucia, you were born in St. Vincent.
I was born on the
That
earth.
is exactly. You are citizen of the Caribbean, you're citizen of the Commonwealth, you're citizen of the OECS.
That's right.
You're raised in St. Lucia. I know people who said they know you growing up in Dennery.
Little boy peed in my
Obviously,
bed
you-
in St. Lucia.
Well, I am so impressed by your ability to speak patois. I was born in Victoria Hospital, but you can speak more patois
Wait,
than
you're
me.
from Dennery?
So I'm very... Me?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm not from Dennery.
Oh.
But I can't speak patois, and you can. So
You
I'm
can't speak
very,
patois?
very, very
You can't come
impressed.
back to St.
I
Lucia
can't.
unless you start speaking patois, man. You need to be deported too to
No.
somewhere.
Don't even try that. Don't even try that because they try to shaft because
Mais
you
ou
can't
pas
speak
parler
patois, you
Creole?
can't settle. Yeah, no, I don't subscribe to that. I'm St. Lucian.
Mhm.
You're from the Oasis. Grew up in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
You have St. Lucia at heart. There's a place for you, just like John Compton, just like
Yeah, man.
everybody else. There's a
St.
place
Lucia owe me. I paid a
But let
lot
me
of
tell-
taxes. I work all my life in St. Lucia.
These guys asking who is this Pastor Garfield? Where he come from? I saw somebody who ran for election some time ago called you. What were they called you? They're coming at you with all sorts of attacks, and I'm telling you, it has only just started. So I'm calling on you and all Christians under the sound of my voice to pray and cover Pastor Garfield.
Thank you.
Cover him because the attacks are coming.
Thank
Pastor
you.
Garfield, I have heard so many things about myself I have never knew before. They have tried everything under
Yeah.
the sun to silence you, and they will do the same with you.
Yeah.
So stay strong and do not cower to them.
I ain't covering to
Now, I want
nobody.
to talk about COVID.
And if they
Exactly.
send them
You don't.
Maginoué with their broom, I will shoot them down and they will drop like flies on the streets of St. Lucia. Anyway,
And
go
let me
ahead.
tell you, they're listening to everything you say right now, every word, and they're dissecting every word, and they're going to twist your words to say what you did not say or to mean what you never meant.
Yeah.
I am telling you, they're listening to your lives.
Well, they better listen because
They're
I'm not going
listening, and
anywhere soon.
Okay, yeah.
They will make me
good.
leave
Just
school
like me,
just to continue doing this.
Just like me, I will not be silent.
Yeah.
When it comes to my country, I will not be silent. All the attacks they come, I will not be silent. They can try everything as they've tried for years. I will not be silent. But you talk about COVID, and I am so impressed that you are so aware of what happened during
Okay,
COVID.
I watch it.
Obviously,
I had
you were
COVID
very much
myself.
in tune. Yeah, no, but what is, in terms of what is happening in St. Lucia,
Yeah.
in terms of the response of the Alan Chastney government, let me tell you, Pastor Garfield, we were battling a pandemic the
Mhm.
world had never seen before.
Mhm.
The world was totally unprepared
Yep.
for. But you had Alan Chastney take this country, and the man instantly
Yeah.
brought his team together.
Mhm.
He transformed Victoria Hospital into a world-class
Oh
respiratory
my
hospital.
God.
The levels of service in terms of the isolation centers for people returning home.
Yeah.
We had Sinutians trapped abroad on cruise ships, could
Yeah.
not get home. The man tapped into his contacts in cruise ships, airlines to get Sinutians back. Shasta is not a man who boasts. He's not a man who comes out and boasts and talks about his personal things. If you don't know, you don't know. But this man had to, while other countries' citizens were trapped
Mhm.
all around the world, Shasta was able to bring our people home,
Yeah.
arrange special charter flights to bring our people home. The level of love I see Shasta has for St. Lucia and for
Mhm.
St. Lucians. I'm telling you, all hours of the night. Remember, we had to close down. All countries, they basically closed. We had
Yeah.
to close our airports, no flights coming in until we try to figure this thing out, lockdown.
Mhm.
Pastor Garfield, the Labour Party in opposition, they every single thing Shasta did to try to keep St. Lucians
Yeah.
safe. They rebelled against it. They rebelled. What does the Bible say about rebellious people, a
Oh.
rebellious nation?
Oh my golly.
They rebel against it. Shasta said, like you said, he closed the borders. Oh, the borders need to be open. They stop alcohol sales. Oh, you're depriving the people of a good time. When they start back alcohol sales, oh, the Mother's Day. This one has to go and see their mother for Easter. This one don't have Netflix. That one, it was madness.
It was madness.
Madness.
Yeah.
And St. Lucians bought into those lies. When Shasta said we need to, Shasta was pleading, just like you said, pleading with St. Lucians. People, listen, we need to manage this. We need to manage the health aspect, but we also need to manage the economy. And they did not listen. The Labour Party made solutions believe Chastney only concerned about the money. That's all he's concerned about. He's concerned about their livelihood. As soon as they got into power, what happened? They could not even manage the health. So many solutions died under this Labour Party because they do not have the management. I'm hoping that solutions see what they had and what they lost with Chastney. Because they gave this man a hard time and an unfair thing because the Labour Party, let me tell you, it burned me to see how any party could use a public health crisis to win an election, an economic crisis. You don't care about the lives of solutions. You don't care about if people died. Anything to win an election. To me, there's things you could play your politics, but there are things that should be out of bounds. The health and lives of a nation. The Labour Party did politics just to win an election. And look at them today. Look at where St. Lucia is today. And even what Chastney was telling them in the middle of COVID, let's try to keep the country open and the economy running. Let's try to keep the construction going. Let's try to keep this and this happening because this will not last forever. COVID will not last forever. We need to position St. Lucia to get out of it. And now they're trying to take credit for the GDP growth that St. Lucia has seen. How? Where? What have they done to ever be responsible for that? That was entirely Chastney's work. But this is the kind of government we have. But St. Lucia needs to open their eyes and see what is happening. But Pastor Garfield, I'll not take any more of your time, but I want to tell you, just be strong and just pray and cover yourself. And I'm asking all St. Lucians listening to me to pray and cover Pastor Garfield because he has and will continue to come under attack.
Thank you, my friend.
So just pray for St. Lucia, pray for our party, pray for the Honorable Alan Chastney, pray, St. Lucians, and be strong. Take care, Pastor Garfield. We'll talk another time.
Yes, appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Amen. And that's my new friend, and I love her very much. Amen. But I want to finish, right? I'm speaking about St. Jude especially, and she's right with all what took place. It should not have been. St. Jude. I think that politicians have been spitting in the eyes of the families who have lost their loved one. And this is enough reason to finish that hospital. There were lives that were lost. And this was a good opportunity to build back better and bigger. This was a good opportunity to say that what took place before, we will not allow it to happen again. We're going to build a structure that can withstand the elements. And by the way, I blame all the governments because, first of all, St. Jude should have been replaced and rebuilt without a fire. It was a crumbling infrastructure there. We wait until things burn or break down or fall on people before it can be fixed. We allow roads to have potholes big enough for you to cook the whole of Dennery banana plantation in it. That's what we wait for until things are about to kill people. Until a car run over a precipice, you don't put a barrier. And we don't have leaders who think ahead of the game. You don't have leaders who walk the communities and look at the needs of this community and act on them. But I'm saying, St. Lucia, you need to stand up and demand that your hospital, I don't care who promised they will finish it, you need to demand and say to them, we want this one finished. You have to demand, this is what we want. If you can find the money for everything else, consultant, desultant, or whatever you call them, you can find the money, take that money. And by the way, you said in opposition that the government should take money from one project and give it to the people. Why don't you take money from one project and finish the St. Jude Hospital? Why don't you take monies from that Skyrise complex that you want to build to put people in? And why don't you put it on the St. Jude Hospital? Put your money where your mouth is. You said it could be done in opposition. Do it now. Take the money from one project, give it to the people in the hospital, build the hospital. But no, you can't do that because you misled the people. You know, no government can take monies that are designated for certain projects and give it to people to put in their pocket. You know that. Huh? Now you're fighting to find the money to finish St. Jude. Huh? No, the money is there. The money for the Sky Rise, what you said, a building, condo for people to live in. And by the way, why do you need condo in St. Lucia? Let me ask you that question. Why do you need a condo in St. Lucia? When I walk around in Brooklyn at some of those government-owned properties, housing, it's a shame how people live in them. It's a shame. People pee in the elevator. It stinks like hell. Garbage. Things are broken. People mark up on the walls. They break the doorknobs. It becomes a ghetto. People smoke in the hallway. When you go upstairs and elderly people are living in these places, they smoke and they get these old people sick in their own apartments. How dare you build a sky riser to put people in as housing? You want them to fall out the window? They got to open the window for air to come in because it's going to be hot. Or are you going to air condition it? Who can afford air condition? Who poor person can afford working at SNS? The price buster. Busting the people's salary. How many of them can afford AC? So they open their windows, and if you don't put bars on it, the children fall out, you have another story. Huh? Why do you need condo in St. Lucia? Why don't you take that money and build houses in different parts of the island for these people? Build homes where they can plant and they can have their little dog and their fowl to get their eggs to eat. Oh, sorry. They got to come and beg you for the eggs. Ah, I forgot. You kind of lose me there. What are you doing with a skyrise, a condo? You need to start breaking some down and building single homes so that people can get into those homes. Dennery have land. There are lands all over St. Lucia that the government own. You said the Queen give you land. The Queen is dead now. Give it to the people. You say the Queen gave you the land. It's the Queen's chain. She is no longer there. It's no longer her chain. Give it to the people before the king takes a seat. And give them the money to build and get rid of that condo talk that can become a ghetto and a nuisance to the society. Where police will have to be showing up every 2 seconds because of noise pollution and smoke from marijuana and everything else. Get our priorities straight, and I'm going to bed now. Get your priorities straight. Speak about the social issues and let your voice, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Lift it up. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, folks, to let your voices be heard. Speak about the issues. Stay on the issues. Don't talk about people's character. Who thief and who lie and who sleep with this one. Don't do that. Don't do that. Deal with the issues that affect you. And there are many that affect you and your family. Don't get people mapui. When people look at you under this life, they should say, wow, this is the most educated set of people. You pa by moon mapui. Huh? They're nice people. Look at the type of discussions that they're having. Don't mapui nobody. Let people be, man. Because all of us have some kind of skeleton somewhere that we have not. By the way, I clean out all of mine every day in the public. So some of us ain't clean out ours yet. And by the fact, some of us still hiding from people. Huh? You're still hiding from people. You're covering your sin. You're not confessing it. So your closet is still full of garbage. But you're talking about people. Talk about the issues. Because some of us can't talk about people. We can't give people no mapui because we are not in any position to give people mapui. Because you are worse than them. So talk about the issues. You are safer there. Talk about the issues. So folks, we're going to build this facility. And mark my words, we're going to build it. We're going to use income from cyberspace, and we're going to build it. So those of you with land, Mr. Mondesi, your name is a good name. Mondesis have a lot of property in St. Lucia. The only thing I don't like some of the Mondesis for is when they start going and tell women to shut their holes. You can pay some penances by giving us land, so we will shut our holes. Give us the land so we can build. So Mr. Anthony Mondesi, I hope you're related to him. Ask him for a piece of land for us. And then we will shut our holes and build so that the people, the older people and the vulnerable in the society can get a balanced meal at the end of the day. Folks, I gone. I'm going to rest. I'm going to try to get my pressure down. I'm going to drink some Morbi. Today, I'll tell you what I had for lunch. I went and I bought snapper. Big one. I stuff it with, what you call that thing, okra. I put lime. I season it with some homemade seasoning that I did. I put garlic, black pepper, and I cover it in foil and I bake it. And I had sweet potato, Eddos, and sweet plantain. And until then, I say to you, I know many of you don't have what I had. And I'm not boasting about it. But I just wanted you to know that I can cook. I can not only talk, but I can cook. I'm a good cook. And one of these days, I'm going to get into this kitchen and cook for the elderly and the vulnerable. I'll put on my apron with my hat, and I'll pull up my sleeve, and I will cook. And I'll make sure that I deliver the first meal and watch that senior person eat it with smile, and I'll eat with them. And I'll say, well done, we have done it together as a team. But get me the land. Get me the land. Somebody get me the land. My brother, my friend, Mr. Shastney, get me the land. Mr. Philip J. Pear, get me the land. Whoever have land, get it to me, please. Don't let it sit there. And you will be blessed when you look at it, and every time you wake up and you look out your window, you will see that property and it will represent hope for your community. And you'll sleep good. And when you pass your time of probation on this earth, you will die good with a smile on your face because you have helped your neighbor. The Bible says, do unto others as you would have them to do you, to help your neighbors. And he will say to you, enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. I was hungry and you feed me. I was naked and you cover me. And I was thirsty and you give me food. That's what he will say to you. Until then, friends, have a beautiful night. And I love every one of you. I couldn't read your comments tonight. And if anybody give anybody any mépris under the life from my end, I apologize to all who are the recipient of the mépris. But be assured that I'm sure if you give people mépris, they might want to give you back. So don't give, so you wouldn't get, and don't get because you're not giving. So this is a no mépris zone. Amen. And folks, continue to pray for me as I pray for you. And I want you to have a beautiful night. And I will announce when I'm going to be back on the air. The truth is I am in school and I have a lot of projects. I have labs that I need to submit every week. I have to go to different areas to do experiment and to do some tests. I'm also doing biology, looking at the impact of humans on the environment. And so that's what I'm doing at this time. So I have to look at construction sites. I have to go to the parks, into the forests, different areas to report and stuff. So please bear with me, all right? And we'll get the school thing out so we can go all week, every day, all week, except Friday. All week. And as we get closer to you making a decision, you deciding, we will be right here and we will cover it live. And we're going to have a beautiful time if God spare our lives. But let's stick together. All right? So, Semuna, I dummy bien. And remember to pray. If you're Adventist, pray. If you're a Catholic, do your rosary, go and sleep. But I prefer you to do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Pray, and pray for your neighbor. Pray for your wicked neighbor. Pray for that wicked person who giving you mape all the time under the live, whoever they are. Pray for them. And pray for those who will post on me after I get off the live. Pray for those who will come for me tomorrow. Just pray. There's power in prayer. And you will see a lot of them getting fixed by Almighty God. But I am a hot rod, and folks need to be careful. Touch not the Lord's anointed, and do the prophet no harm. Bonsoir. Good night.